Hey guys, this is Marjorie and today I'm going to talk about the most spoken languages in the world. Determining what are the most spoken languages in the world it is a more difficult task than you might imagine. This top includes the most widely spoken languages around the globe, and some of the most common languages might surprise you. So with that being said, I present you the top 10 most spoken languages in the world. Rounding up the top 10 is French, with 229 million speakers divided in 76 million native speakers and 153 million non-native speakers. It's the official language of 28 countries, with the highest number of speakers in France, Canada, Belgium, and Switzerland, in that order. It's also widely spoken in parts of Western and Central Africa, on several Caribbean islands, and even on the South American mainland, in French Overseas Department of French Guiana. As well as the country and territory that speak French today, many people worldwide speak French-based Creole, particularly in Haiti, where most of the population speak Haitian Creole as their own language. Haitian Creole is heavily influenced by French, but different enough to be considered as a separate language. Number 9. Portuguese, with 229 million speakers, divided in 218 million number of native speakers and 11 million number of non-native speakers. Portuguese developed from Latin and is closely related to modern Spanish. The name comes from Portugal, whose name in turn comes from Porto, the second largest city in that country, but the word Porto in Portuguese simply means port. And also the Portuguese Empire once stretched far and wide from South America to Africa, to as far as India and Southeast Asia. Today, Portuguese is an official language in 9 countries, as well as in the Chinese territory of Macau. Number 8. Bengali, 261 million speakers, with a number of 242 million native speakers and 19 million number of non-native speakers. Sometimes it is known in English by its native name, Bangla. Bengali is the official language of Bangladesh and of several Indian states. In fact, it's the second most widely spoken language in India. Like Hindustani, Bengali is an Indo-Aryan language. This is a branch of the Indo-European family. Other branches include the Romance and Germanic language. In other words, Bengali and Hindustani are, believe it or not, distant cousins of English. Number 7. Russian, 267 million speakers, with 153 million native speakers and 113 million of non-native speakers. It's the largest of the Slavic languages. Russian is the official language of 4 countries, like Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. It's also widely spoken in many other countries of the former Soviet Union, and has official status in numerous subnational territories. Russian's closest relatives include Ukrainian and Belarusian, the 3 of them descending from the language that was spoken in the medieval state of the Kievan Rus. More distantly, they are related to other Slavic languages like Polish, Czech, Slovak, Bulgarian, and Serbo-Croat. By number of native speakers, Russian is the biggest language in Europe, like many of the Slavic languages. Number 6. Malay, 281 million speakers, with 77 million numbers of native speakers and 204 million numbers of non-native speakers. Malay is an official language in Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. You can also hear it being spoken in parts of Thailand and the Philippines. It is by far the largest of the Austronesian languages, which is a family that's thought to have originated in Taiwan. The area in which Malay is spoken is extremely linguistically diverse. Indonesian alone is home to more than 700 living languages, Bahasa Melayu, as it's known, has a long history in the religion as a lingua franca, the language of government and trade. Except Indonesians don't call it Bahasa Melayu, Malay. They call it Bahasa Indonesian or Indonesian. Malaysians call it Bahasa Malaysia or Malaysian. These dialects are mutually unintelligible and shouldn't be considered separate language. Just wherever you do, don't call it Bahasa, because for some reason, foreigners often call it this way, but the word Bahasa simply means language. Malay isn't called Bahasa any more than Spanish is called idioma, so you have been warned. Number 5. Arabic. 422 million speakers, with a number of 290 million native speakers and a number of 132 million not-native speakers. Arabic is the official language of 26 countries, although some have argued that it's not really one language but several. But if we leave this aside and assume that there's a single tongue called Arabic, then it's a massive language with over 400 million speakers. It originated in Arabian Peninsula and has since spread all across the Middle East and North Africa. Arabic is also, of course, the language of Islam. While most Muslims are not native Arabic speakers, the language is of special importance to the world's second largest religion. Number 4. Spanish. 557 million speakers, with a number of 436 million native speakers and a number of 91 million non-native speakers. Sí, señor. By number of native speakers, Spanish is the second biggest language in the world, behind only Mandarin, but by total speakers, it's at number 4. The language known as Spanish originated in the Castile region of Spain. For this reason, it's sometimes referred to as Castilian or Castellano in the language itself. It's spoken all across South, Central America, and the Caribbean. Spanish is also the second most common language in the United States, which is home to a whopping 4 million native speakers. Number 3. Hindustani. 544 million speakers, with a number of 329 million native speakers and a number of 215 million non-native speakers. Hindustani is the collective name for Hindi and Urdu, two dialects of the same language. The name comes from Hindustan, a historical term for the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. Hindi is spoken across northern and central India and is the official language of the Indian government. Urdu is primarily spoken in Pakistan. While Hindi and Urdu have difference in vocabulary and pronunciation, speakers of either language can easily communicate with each other. Number 2. English. 983 million speakers, with a number of 371 million native speakers and a number of 611 million non-native speakers. Thanks to the historical dominance of the British Empire and, more recently, the economic and cultural clout of the United States, English is well established as the world's lingua franca and is the second most spoken language in the world. At its core, English is a Germanic language. Its vocabulary and sentence structure are closest to modern languages like German and Dutch. However, it's been heavily influenced by other languages through its strange history. And finally, at number 1 we have Mandarin Chinese, 1.1 billion speakers, with a number of 897 million native speakers and a number of 193 million non-native speakers. People sometimes speak of Chinese as if it is a single language, It's actually a group of related languages of which Mandarin Chinese is by far the biggest. It's an official language in the People's Republic of China, the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Singapore. The native name for Mandarin literally means common speech. Although in Taiwan people call it national language, historically it was also called the speech of officials. Since Mandarin is more common in northern China, it's sometimes referred to as northern dialects.